Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Thank you so much for joining me this early morning as we discuss Arsenal news and the latest around the transfer market. Arsenal are considering Saka as a priority, and the Athletic are saying Rafinha will be signed for Arsenal only as a backup to Bukayo Saka. But we're going to talk about that. In my opinion, I don't see that happen. I don't see how Arsenal sign a 75 million euro player and then they make him just a backup to Saka. But of course, we're gonna be talking about that Arsenal wants another striker on top of Gabriel Jesus this summer. Lisandro Martinez is convinced that Arsenal is the project. He wants to join. Aaron Heike, talks are broken down between them and Arsenal. All that and more in this episode of Arsenal Transfer News. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast. Let's get this video to 500 likes. And of course, make sure you subscribe. We are already at 45,000, which is amazing. But the journey continues as we are looking for 5,000 more subscribers to get to 50,000 subscribers. That is where we are. Now, let's get to the content. Let's start off with The Athletic, who have reported that Rafinha will be signing for Arsenal. They do not deny that. Arsenal are working very hard and working very, very closely with Leeds United. The agent of the player is also in London to finalize a move for the player. Now, Arsenal are preparing their initial bid, and like I reported yesterday, I'll be telling you more about that. But The Athletic have reported that the player will be joining Arsenal Football Club only as a reserve, only as a backup for Bukayo Saka at Arsenal Football Club. Now, the priority of Arsenal, according to The Athletic, this summer, and actually this week and in the coming weeks, is to make sure that Gabriel Jesus signs, Lisandro Martinez signs, Rafinha signs, and also on top of that, Bukayo Saka's new contract is done. So, I mean, the two priorities. One, you have Saka now getting a new contract, which I think has been a little bit stalling right from January when we're talking about, Saka getting a new contract and things like that. It's been a little bit stalling, but the Athletic have brought it back, and now they've said Arsenal will try to give him a new contract. He is on top of the priorities. Now, there's been a lot of threat and fear in Bukayo Saka's camp that the coming on of Rafinha will actually affect Saka and the game time he might get at Arsenal Football Club. The Athletic have reported that Rafinha only comes in as a backup to Saka. And that is the question I'm asking you on the podcast today. Do you think this is true? Do you think this is absolutely, does it make any sense that a player of the quality of Rafinha, way older than Saka, 25 years of age, proven in the Premier League, and we know the amount of quality he has is far better and greater than Saka. Do you think he comes in as a backup to Bukayo Saka, or do you think he comes in as a starter in Mikel Arteta's setup? Now, this is my opinion. I think Rafinha comes in. I'm not really convinced that Saka will leave Arsenal this summer. I think he will pen a new contract, but it's going to be one where Rafinha grows into the lineup slowly but surely. I won't be very surprised by the end of the season if Rafinha is starting and Saka has either dropped to the left-hand side of the lineup, or actually Saka has dropped to the bench. Because for me, you don't sign a 75 million euro player to sit on the bench. That is unacceptable. Of course, they're saying that Rafinha comes in as a replacement, as a direct replacement to Nicolo Pepe. That much we understand, but it is also very, very clear that Arsenal's, Mikel Arteta's attempts to use Nicolo Pepe in his lineup only failed. If Nicolo Pepe had tried to become the player Mikel Arteta had anticipated, then maybe one of Saka or Martinelli or Smith Rowe wouldn't be starting ahead of him. Alan Smith made it very, very clear yesterday. Look, he said, Pepe is a top player, quality player. Mikel Arteta has given him the chance. He's trusted him, but it has not actually paid off. It has not come off, for both of them. And that is why you need a player who is a little bit more reliable. Pepe at the moment is unreliable. He's a quality player. He's talented. Yes, he can put in a top, top bins from 30 yards, but that is so inconsistent. You never know when he's going to do it. So Rafinha now comes in as a replacement of Nicolo Pepe, confirmed, but only as a reserve to Saka, according to The Athletic. I don't want to trash their talk a lot, but for me, that is trash talk. That is English media trying to protect Saka. They're trying to. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're trying to show Arsenal should not sign Rafinha, should not sign any other wingers because we already have Smith Rowe and Saka on the flanks. They think Arsenal should only be having Saka and Emile Smith Rowe playing. I mean, they're trying to advocate for game time, for their players. I understand that, but as Arsenal, as a big club, we need competition in all those areas. It has happened with Manchester City. The likes of Raheem Sterling, the likes of Phil Foden are competing with very, very talented players like Riyad Mahrez. And for me, look, that brings out the best of Arsenal Football Club, and that brings out the best of any club because there is healthy competition. But that would also bring out the best of Saka and Emile Smith Rowe. Get players that can push them, get players that can start ahead of them in a couple of games. Saka's minutes are, we've always complained about him playing so many minutes, and for me, this is the time, this is the summer when Arsenal can get someone to help him out, or even someone to challenge him to that position. But anyway, the English media have already started their agendas about Saka and Emile Smith Rowe, failure to find game time, because Pablo Vieira coming in means that Emile Smith Rowe's minutes this season will be shared, and now Rafinha coming in means that Saka's minutes as well will be shared. For me, which is something very, very okay. Fabrizio, of course, confirms that the priority for Arsenal this summer is to get Saka to sign a new contract. The player is happy at Arsenal. He loves to stay. However much we've been, it has been indicated that a couple of clubs are interested, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Manchester City. It remains a priority for Saka as well to sign a new contract at Arsenal Football Club. Now, moving on to the latest around Rafinha. It has been reported once again that Arsenal's initial bid is going to be 58 million euros. That is incoming. Leeds United are expecting it. They've been in talks with Arsenal for some time now, since yesterday. The talks between Edu and the representatives of the player are believed to be very, very fruitful, although a couple of sources are still holding on to the idea that Rafinha will wait for Barcelona. But according to Gold Brazil, they confirm that the player has not heard from Barcelona for quite some time and is not willing to wait for them. So a brand new bid from Arsenal is coming in. It's going to be the first bid for the player. Barcelona did not bid for Rafinha. They only proposed 40 million euros, which was not even enough, which was not even close enough to what Leeds United are asking for. So Arsenal's initial offer is 58 million euros. Like I reported yesterday, they want 55 million euros plus 15 million euros in bonuses. So it is still not enough. We do not know whether Leeds are going to reduce their asking price. In my opinion, they definitely have to. They definitely have to reduce that asking price. It's not very, very mad, but for a player the quality of Rafinha, not mad. And also compared to the kind of prices happening around the market. But in my opinion, Arsenal should be able to get this deal done for around 60 million euros. 50 million euros guaranteed and 10 million euros in bonuses. That is what I think Leeds United will settle for. And I don't see how Leeds United are going to fail to get an offer, to accept an offer in the region of 58 million euros. They know, however much they're proud and everything, look, they need the money to recruit as well, but they also know that there are not so many clubs at the moment in that financial situation that are going to come for Rafinha and they pay 65 million euros. United would have done that, but they're going for Anthony. Chelsea are looking at Ousmane Dembele as well, which would be a cheaper deal in terms of what you pay up front, and then probably a more expensive deal when it comes to wages and everything. So Rafinha, if they're, for me, Leeds, the moment they get an offer in the region of 60 million euros, they will not hesitate. So Arsenal pushing for that move. Bid incoming 58 million euros, still below Leeds valuation. Leeds are valuing the player at around 75 million euros. Now, also, this morning, we can confirm the Arsenal are interested in another striker in signing another striker on top of Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus will be our main striker next season. That is confirmed. He's going to be leading that attack. But Arsenal will get in another striker on top of Eddie Nketiah. A couple of names this morning have been fronted, including the man himself, because we've always talked about him, and finally he is on the list for Arsenal yet again. That striker from Brentford, Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney as a backup, in my opinion, would not be that bad. It would cost us around 30 million pounds. Of course, it's English, and it's had a very, very good campaign. But for me, coming in as a backup is far ahead of Eddie Nketiah. A couple of sources have indicated Eddie Nketiah could be a starter for Arsenal this coming campaign. I don't see how that happens. But of course, the fact that he signed a new contract worth 100k per week and is going to be getting and is going to be getting the shot for 10. Oh, he has already gotten the shot for 10. It means there could be an element of much game time, a lot of game time for him. But for me, in my opinion, Arsenal should get in a striker. The one in as the striker on top of Gabriel Jesus. Ivan Toney is the best option. He might want to stay at Brentford because at Brentford he's the star, he's the king. But if you convince him to join this Arsenal side and try to show him the future and try to show him how important he would be, especially in games where you have Gabriel Jesus not working and you need to change of you need a change of tactics, change of system as well. And also, in my opinion, I don't think it's gonna be too long before Arsenal regret signing Eddie Nketiah on a 5-year deal. I don't think it's gonna be very, very long. And look, if we never regret, I'll be fine. I'll be very happy to be wrong. My opinion is not about the shot for 10. My opinion is about Nketiah staying for another 5 years. I don't agree with that. But anyway, Arsenal also want a new striker this morning. Lisandro Martinez as well is convinced that Arsenal is the project. He has talked to Edu. He's talked to the representatives of Arsenal Football Club, and he has totally been convinced that he should be joining Arsenal Football Club. However, Ajax Football Club do want to keep him, and that is still the problem. Ajax want to keep him. Ajax want to hold on to him. They are not willing to let him go as easy as Arsenal would want. Arsenal still, pushing. Still a priority for us as a defensive addition. This summer, we want him, and we'll try to get him, throughout before the window ends. But the player is convinced. He's talked to Edu. He's talked to the representatives of Arsenal Football Club. They've told him about the project and the role he would be playing in this Arsenal team. So we are waiting to see whether Lisandro Martinez will be done and we will get the deal over the line. But Arsenal are totally convinced that the player is keen on joining the club and also convinced about the project. And lastly today, Aaron Heike, talks have broken down between Arsenal and the representatives of the player. Actually, according to Fabrizio Romano, there are no talks currently between Aaron Heike and Arsenal. There are no talks. It was reported by the Scotsman that Arsenal are leading the race to sign the player. Brentford also in that race. Bologna confirming that a couple of clubs in the UK are interested, but if they do not have the right amount for the player, then they will not let him go. So according to what I know now, talks are broken down for Aaron Heike. I still think, in my opinion, that deal will get done, but later in the summer. So is the Yuri Tillemans deal. All those deals will be coming in, but later in the summer. You don't expect us to complete 6-7 deals in 1 week or 2 weeks. That would be a lot of work to do. So as we wait to complete Vieira, whose announcement could come in today, as we wait to complete Gabriel Jesus, whose deal closes this week, we are still waiting for the likes of Aaron Heike and Yuri Tillemans later in the summer transfer window. Deals 100% happening, according to Fabrizio Romano on Yuri Tillemans, and Romano says Aaron Heike talks have broken down.